2023 tax year has been a doozy for a lot of people this year, especially if you are someone who typically do not owe um, on your taxes. A lot of clients are finding that they owe for the first time this year. But one thing that I want to make sure that you are aware of while you are shopping around for accountants or tax preparers, I know that that tax bill can be a shock for you, but you want to make sure that when you are selecting your tax preparer and or your accountant, that you are understanding what they are doing to implement tax strategies on your tax return. Because at the end of the day, when you submit and e-file your tax return, it's all on you. Granted, yes, if you unfortunately, God forbid, paid a faulty accountant or tax preparer to file your taxes, and you discover after the fact that they've entered some type of erroneous tax deduction to bring down your tax debt, well, then there's things that you can do to file a complaint against that accountant. But you have to also be aware that it is your responsibility to take a second look at your tax return and to also ask questions. So what happens if you go to an accountant and you learn after the fact, especially if you're someone who don't understand taxes, which is the majority of people that go to accounting offices to get their taxes filed? What if you learn that that accountant did something faulty or against your knowledge or your will? Well, there's actually a complaint form that you can fill out and submit to the Internal Revenue Service, especially if you receive some type of IRS correspondence or a letter questioning your tax credit or deductions that you claim on your tax return. There is a complaint form that you can actually submit to the Internal Revenue Service that will possibly help you either relieve that tax debt or relieve any type of penalties and interest. Now, if that's not the case for you, what if you owe and you want your accountant to implement tax strategies? You want to make sure that you are asking the right questions, asking your accountant, okay, what did you do to get my balance down? Especially if you're not aware if you actually qualify for that tax deduction. Like I mentioned before, it is your responsibility to ensure that your tax return is accurately filed, even if you pay someone. The IRS will not contact your accountant first, they will contact you first. So make sure that you are asking questions. Make sure you are paying attention to the signs if you're looking for a new tax preparer or a new accountant. You want to make sure that they're not promising you a unrealistic tax debt, because at the end of the day, to be honest, no accountant or any CPA or tax preparer can just outright tell you what your refund would be or if you will owe it without at least looking at your tax documents or assessing your tax scenario. That's unrealistic. So pay attention to the signs, ask questions. If you owe, then ask your accountant, your tax preparer for tax strategies that you can implement for tax year 2024 so that you don't find yourself owing again. If you are in the market for a new tax preparer or an accountant, I am Ashley Fields with Fields Accounting Firm, and I pretty much service clients in all 50 states. And so when I take on a client who's just oblivious to the tax code and who oftentimes find themselves owing year after year, I like to look at their W-4. If they operate a business, I like to tell them tax strategies that they should implement, whether that be, contributing to their Roth, gifting, whatever the tax scenario, because each person's tax scenario is different. I make sure that I educate every last one of my clients. So if you are in the market for a new tax preparer or an accountant, I'm actually going to leave my contact details in the description below. Okay, so again, I'm Ashley Fields, and I want you to be careful this tax season because there are going to be a lot of audits, especially with the PPP fraud, and as of late, the ERC tax fraud right now. A lot of people are filing ERC claims who really didn't have employees for the covered period to even get the ERC. So that's a big thing. And yeah, so just be careful out there, you guys. Ask questions. Beware of tax preparers and accountants that promise you a tax refund without even looking at your tax documents. That you should raise caution for sure on that. Okay? So until next time, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I will answer your questions individually. And again, if you are in the market for a new accountant, I will leave my contact details below. As a new client, we can schedule a quick call so I can just understand your tax planner and your tax scenario, okay? Until next time.